Hey everybody, day 9. Ding! I know one day I'm going to spill all over my laptop when I do that.
I haven't done it since, but I did it day 2. Seems like years ago.
No, I'm nervous because you did it on day 2.
Right.
All right. So we got a lot of current events to talk about, and I'll jump right into that. Pulling up my notes here. And let's see. Japan postponed the Olympics. I think we all kind of knew that was coming, but that was kind of a milestone that everybody was looking at. So postponed to the next year.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm glad that they did it now. You know, it just wouldn't be fair to kind of let everybody just linger and wait. So better to pull the trigger on it now than to wait and have things be dragged out for another month and a half or 2 months.
Yeah, I know they're going to take a big financial hit. I'm sure that's why they were trying to will it not to happen. But
yeah, and you wonder really what the whole what it's going to look like in a year. What the the quarantine and the virus and the world crisis is going to do to these athletes. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe you'll see a reduction in records. Maybe you'll see a reduction in overall times for races.
Never
just because I don't know what the athletic impact is going to be on them. I can imagine that there's only so much motivation you can get working by yourself at home, and what that toll is gonna be. So
yeah, I mean, you're not going to the pool most likely that you swam in.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
I mean, some people I'm sure are not. Right.
I don't know if you're an Olympic swimmer. Yeah, you not able to get a facility. Maybe not. I hadn't really thought about that. What do you do? Yeah.
Yeah, and you can't just keep getting tested every time, just to maintain your infection status. But it's interesting. I could see that if we do beat this by next year, that the Olympics is even bigger than it really normally is. It'll be like a world event for us to come together and
I think
celebrate. Our
it'll mean a lot more. Yeah,
it'll mean a lot more.
Right.
So I hope that is the case. I hope that's where we're at next year.
Absolutely, as will the NFL season. For America, if it happens. Think about that. It'll be the only sports that we've been able to watch in 6 months, 5 months.
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
I'm definitely missing.
Fingers crossed on that.
Let's see here. Okay, moving on. Trump wants to lift the travel ban by Easter. That's 3 weeks away.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't see how that's even possible.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. Where does that come from? Where's the data that to show that? I just sometimes think he'd be better off just having somebody say, just say nothing. 90% of the stuff that that's rolling off the tongue, it's just don't say it. It's okay not to say something. We don't need a date right now. We just need it would have been fine for him to say, let's see, let's wait and see. But then you say, I want everybody to be in church by Easter. For those who want to participate, it's well, yeah, we all want to, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't know that. We haven't even started testing really. This is the first week where we've started to test, and we're not even really at a full, gallop. We're still trotting along. So yeah. I think nice, positive attempt, President Trump, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah,
I'm not going to put my any hope or on that. I just don't think it's going to.
Yeah, I assume the rate will still be increasing in 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, based on what we're seeing in Italy, why would we think that?
Yeah.
We haven't hit the based on what we're seeing in Spain. Why would we think that? I don't understand it. I mean, we're talking about, getting the new test, which will be a 45-minute process versus potentially 2 days or hours, which is great. So let's get there, and then let's get to the next milestone and get to the next milestone. Don't set expectations in my mind for 60, 30, 90 days out. Let's just put our heads down and work hard to get through this and test.
Yeah. I would love to see things like lifting the travel ban be associated with hitting numbers of some sort, as opposed to just like, well, in 3 weeks, it's going to be 3 weeks, and then we should lift the travel ban. But I have a feeling he's still worried about the economy more than anything. That's just my guess. I don't know. He's probably, I mean.
Yeah, I think he's, if I'm losing sleep over anything, if I'm the president, it's, lives and the economy. Economy is number two. Lives are number one. I don't know that he's taking that position and saying that lives are not as important, but I know that, the economic impact of this is going to be just awful. I mean, we haven't even seen it. We're all sitting in our homes talking about what's going to happen, but we don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to speculate on how bad it is, but it's not going to be good. There's no doubt about it. But you mentioned Italy. Yesterday we talked about Italy had a reduction in daily numbers, and we were kind of hoping that was going to continue. Although I don't know if we really believed it, but they just ramped back up today.
Yeah.
In their second highest day. So, it's...
what that means, it was just a lull in testing, maybe. Who knows?
Could be anything, right? Yeah, it could be many things, I guess.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, just the number of factors we got really no information on. I know that Iran's still pretty bad. I just watched a video that was from a wife in Iran where the police had come into the house and taken away the father or the husband who was tested positive. So that's happening. India's right now just on the verge of, really trying to curve this and try to flatten that curve and make sure that they're not getting impacted. But it looks like India's going to be the next, the next one on the list as far as the frequency of cases. But yeah, we've got 120 plus countries right now that are,
Yeah, Italy's in a full national lockdown. Yeah. We had a bunch of people we work with from India. Or sorry, I meant India, not Italy. India's in a lockdown.
Yeah. 100 million people.
Yeah. Biggest lockdown ever.
Yep.
But we had a bunch of people we work with who were just like didn't come into work today. Work in India, and they said, "Hey, we can't come in. We weren't able to be prepared, so we can't work from home in many cases. So that's gonna that stinks for us." So
yeah, because you don't have the facilities and the resources to be able to work from home like we can here in America. I mean, the high-speed internet isn't as accessible, in the homes as it is, here.
Yeah, and if like they didn't bring their laptop charger home, coincidentally, then they're out of luck there. Stuff like that. So, because there's no going back to the office.
That's crazy. Because I mean, obviously, we still got that here. If I needed to go to the office, I could run into the office and just,
Yep.
That probably wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, just looking at these numbers here, the one that I wanted to mention was the UK. The UK's numbers, are up almost 1,500 points in the last day. 1,500 people, rather. Points. Jeez, that's where my head's at. They've got 87 deaths in the last 24 hours. The USA has had 145 deaths in the last 24 hours. So we don't need to go into all the details on numbers, but it's pretty, it's ramping up pretty fast.
It was like 100 people died yesterday, right? So 145 today. That's maybe 200 tomorrow. So yeah, we're just, I don't want to say just getting started, but we're not. I don't even feel like we're near the middle yet.
No, I mean, our epicenter is New York. That's really where half the cases are coming from. We had 10,000 cases almost yesterday, so 10,000 new cases in the country. We're at something like 54,000 total. So yeah, I don't know what to say other than to hold on and let's flatten that curve. I went to on the personal level. I don't want to change gears too much, but I went to the grocery store today to pick up my mom's prescriptions for her. So had my mask on, had my gloves, walked in and got the prescription, and walked out. I saw a number of people wearing masks.
Good.
Still maybe 20, maybe 15% of all the shoppers, but still something. Yeah, so people are definitely taking it more seriously. I'm still not seeing employees wearing masks, and I get it. Once that happens, they've got to make a commitment to make sure that it happens all the time. But there's still no excuse. If I was putting my employees out there in a grocery store environment, I just figure out a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
These guys have masks. They shouldn't be risking their lives for their job, and they are. The checkers are wearing gloves. That's nice, but it's not going to protect them from somebody coughing in their face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or them coughing on our stuff that they're checking out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. So unfortunate, and we'll see how we tend to, or how we choose to progress, when it comes to masks and what we do here. I think we're still in that shortage mode. There's still a lot of medical facilities in Illinois even who say we just don't have enough masks. There's a lot of communication going out there, even from CDC, saying hospital employees, if you don't have masks, make a makeshift mask, put a bandana together, do something, which is true. But it's also what a awful situation to be in when you're around infected people, and you're putting your family and yourself at risk, and they're still showing up at work and doing the great things that they do. They're heroes. But we could have acted in January, to mitigate this, and we could insisted on tripling whatever the production of masks that are made in the United States, around the first of the year, just as a precautionary measure. So everything's hindsight's 2020.
I hope we've learned that lesson, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see any major move to produce more. Not just masks, but like things in general. Like we should be like, wow, man, we really painted ourselves in a corner. We don't make enough stuff in America. We should start bringing stuff back. And maybe that's a while too early to know that, but
yeah, I think it is a little early. I think it's obvious to the average American. Now it's a matter of how do we figure it out? How do we take this economic crash and this crisis that we're in and leverage it to be something positive, for our future, building factories, maybe that means, lower cost jobs for a number of Americans from what we were at when we came into this thing, but it doesn't mean that we can't come out of it and be a better country altogether. We should be making our own pharmaceuticals. We absolutely should be. We shouldn't be dependent on China like we are. And if anything, we should walk away from this being less dependent on the rest of the world. Not because we need to be isolationists, because we need to not put ourselves, in this compromised situation.
Yeah. And I think, it wouldn't be isolationist to produce so much that you would be able to export some things, but we're the opposite side of the spectrum on that. So.
Yep. So you had a couple other things here that we wanted to talk about. There were some of the bills going on, some of the stimulus that was happening. NASA funding was one thing I saw that you had up here, so I didn't know what you wanted.
I was just going to jam down the list because yesterday I talked about the stimulus bill and I didn't know much of what's in it, but here's kind of the things, and I'll just rattle these off. But the bill, and so Democrats and Republicans are going back and forth with their own bills and trying to update them, and they'll have to come to an agreement on some final bill. But the things that are being tossed around is the Fed giving money to loan servicers to allow borrowers to stop paying off their mortgages for 360 days. Why it's not 365, I don't know. But hey, maybe that's a magic number. The ability to delay car and credit card payments, stopping the negative consumer credit reporting, so like not paying your bills on time won't affect your credit score. Public housing, public housing residents temporary reprieve for paying rent, student loan forgiveness up to $10,000, NASA funding for the JFK Performing Center of Arts, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration funding, boosting unemployment checks to $600 a week, voting by mail if the state doesn't already support that, airlines getting bailed out, and they'd have to cut their emissions by 50% if they do, and if they don't have aircrafts that can handle emission cuts, the Fed will buy those aircrafts off of them so they can buy new airplanes, and shore up financially troubled union pension funds, which is interesting because I just read today that the California Public Workers Pension Fund, which is like the biggest in the United States, I believe, lost. They were at somewhere around $410 billion, and just in a month they're now down to $330 billion because of the stock hit. So that's a humongous hit. I have a lot of family actually that works for the state and either is collecting pension or, at the age where they're about to collect pension. And I have already been nervous even before this whole thing that someday their pension payments are going to get cut. And I think this makes that even more probable.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah. I live in Illinois. We have pension problems. We have politicians who spend the money with the hopes that somehow, whoever's around in 5 years is going to figure out how to, it's an awful, awful situation. And it's awful to allow the managers of these funds to spend money in a risky way, like, stock market, in my opinion. You don't put your pension fund in risks, in risky investments, and yeah, I don't know what's going to come out of that, so we'll see.
Yep. But I rattled off a lot of stuff. I think a lot of those items are complete BS and should not even be part of the bill. And any of those things that are BS, if they're arguing points and delaying this bill, it's just like it bugs me that it's just same old government, same old thing. Same thing they did in 2008. Same thing they did in 2000.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I love NASA. I love the idea of going to space and Mars. I don't understand why NASA plays a role in this, this at all.
Put it in some bill, right?
Employees who work for NASA having the ability to, file for unemployment just like everybody else. Let's talk about priorities and triage.
Yeah.
We don't need to go to space. What's the benefit of us getting, to the moon or going back to Mars? Why?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about what we need to do in the next 5 years. Let's fix America. Let's fix, everything else that's breaking right now. I don't get it.
I think, it's these omnibus bills that they pack all this stuff into that just leads me to think that the government just sees opportunities to
yeah, absolutely,
get stuff in. It's what it is, and it's unfortunate. So on that note,
a little guy.
Yeah. On that note, one thing that I heard that actually made me happy is they tried to fast track the Freedom Act through Congress in the last couple days, which is the Patriot Act under a new name. And one that just pisses me off because I hate the Patriot Act. And the fact that they try and fast track things just because people are distracted or because there's panic or whatever, that's like the lowest of the low to me. But I was happy that enough I want to say senators, but no, it can't be. It has to be representatives, because I believe the number was 77. That's, that'd be most of the senators. But they said, no, this is not okay. You can't do this. And I was like, thank you, man. And I think this was from both sides. This was Democrats, Republicans, even Libertarian. There's like one or two of them in Congress that said, no way, you can't do this. So they blocked it, and it's coming back for another vote. But I was like, thank you. At least you did something,
Yeah, I think I'm glad. I'm with you. I'm glad that happened. I also don't know how much that act is going to apply when we potentially are in a situation like martial law. So maybe it's really a moot point. You got to go for it.
Sure.
But ultimately, when you're in the act of, and the army is running the show, none of that matters anyway. They can do whatever they want. And I'm not suggesting for a minute. I kind of go back to what Sean Penn said, not being a Sean Penn fan per se, but I did appreciate his perspective on the fact that our army, our military, is one of the best humanitarian militaries, if not the best humanitarian military on the planet. So taking care of what's happening in our backyard versus what's happening in some third world country, is just a different day for them. And I know that that's the easy thing for me to say, but I also believe it. I'd much rather feel positive about our army and what's happening with our, with the action that our government needs to take to protect us all. At the end of the day, these are Americans, and they're the best at what they do. So we hope that that doesn't happen. But if it does, I'm not going to lose sleep, and fear my government like I would if I maybe lived in a different part of the world like China.
Yeah. I did hear that. I need to do a little more research on this, and maybe I'll report back tomorrow. But I did hear, speaking of China, that things are coming out about them underreporting right now. That kind of the data starting to flow out that they underreported, and which we all kind of expected. I don't know anybody that didn't, but that would suck.
There's kind of two things that are happening. Their numbers are going down, and they're kind of taking a new spin on what those numbers that are coming up mean. So they've introduced a new term, which we'll follow this a little bit more closely. But they've introduced a new term, which is imported cases.
Yes.
So they're implying that the cases that are happening in China are coming from people who are outside of China, bringing it back into the country. And we can't prove that, or we have no information on that. But it's definitely from a PR standpoint and a political, leveraging. That's an interesting way to look at it. So.
Yeah, and I have to assume there's at least some imported cases because they are bordered by numerous countries. No doubt about that. But I think, I don't know. I would just have to bet that with 1.5 billion people that if you have a massively contagious virus, that some of that's homegrown. Yeah,
I would agree too. You had a couple memes that I sent over there. I want to pull up one of them.
Yeah, we'll pull that up. We'll end on that. Give me a second.
I'm just reading about this. A person from Yunnan province in China on his way back to Shandong province, somebody actually died on one of the charter buses on Monday.
Oh boy.
So he's tested positive.
People out.
And then the other 32 people on the bus are being tested. But man, this guy actually died on the bus. He's going back to work, and this is this is just not good for China. The idea that this guy's going back to work and he literally died on the bus. How awful. So.
Yeah, not a good indication that they, have turned the corner. All right.
All right. So you got the one.
The
yeah.
first thing here.
It's Pennywise. So
Yeah.
that's the name of the clown. Pennywise, the clown from It. This is the original one, so I love that. You know, I got hand sanitizer down here. You know, that Tim Curry, man.
That's right. It was Tim Curry.
OG. Oh yeah, yeah.
The late Tim Curry.
Yeah, OG.
And this one, I am Homer in this picture because I'm cruising Reddit, looking at memes and laughing because you gotta laugh, otherwise you're just gonna cry and panic. But
that's it. That's everybody at home right now for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tim Curry's still alive.
Oh, I thought he passed away.
No, I don't think so. Let me see.
Ooh,
No, I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Here, Tim Curry.
But yeah, I love that Simpsons one. You know, everybody's sitting and laughing on their phones and their memes.
You're right. My bad, Tim. You're still alive.
Nah, he was sick for a little while. But yeah, he's still alive.
Good. I love Tim Curry. He's great.
Keep Tim Curry safe. We love you.
Yeah,
Tim.
right. Hopefully he doesn't get coronavirus.
That's right. Hopefully he's safe at home.
Yeah, right. All right, yeah, I searched Reddit and everything and couldn't find anything super duper funny. So Chris is the sole provider of humor today.
I'll top that off if you want to close the screen share. I'll add my last.
Yeah. Let me see here.
So this is a shirt I got at Walmart. It's really for my kids, but I thought I'd wear it today. Some breaking news.
Hold on, I think I'm still sharing my screen. No, we're good.
Breaking news.
Yeah, right. That's going to be our thumbnail for this video. Just so
I like
know.
that. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. As far as house, not a whole lot happened, today in the house. It's just more of the same. My son's been recording violin videos for his violin group in school, and so we all had to. He got the opportunity to tell us to be quiet, which is good for him. Yeah. No, I gotta record it again one more time. So I was like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
So, other than that, just a daily grind. I'm looking forward to kind of getting back to some new projects in the next couple of days, and then teeing up some big projects for the weekend. My kids are already, unhappy about all the shit I'm going to pull out. We're going to redo the basement, and it's going to be one of those awful days where we're going to.
It reminds me of your dad.
Oh yeah. The weekend projects.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's good though. I understand now. Yeah. How'd the empanadas turn out?
They're really good, actually. Yes, they were delicious. I ended up making more today because I actually made them for tonight. So ended up making more with some beef I had left over. So I got the pork empanadas, the beef empanadas. I'm gonna freeze a few. But yeah, I spent a lot of time traveling in Central and South America, so I could eat Mexican food every day, all day.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Jenny's making some Tex-Mex rolls, which is one of our favorite things in the house right now. House smells super good.
Nice.
I don't even know exactly what's in it, but it's just it's like a Mexican spring roll. At least it looks like a spring roll, but instead of that spring roll material, it's like tortilla kind of thing, and then a bunch of Mexican, typical Mexican ingredients, and it's just amazing. It's out of this world. So I'm getting hungry.
Excellent. Well,
One thing I should mention, my work in about 30 minutes, we're going to do a virtual happy hour, which seems to be like a trend.
Nice.
But we're going to be playing, I don't know if you heard of Jackbox.
I have heard of Jackbox.
It's like party games. There's a bunch of party games, and it's it's
like Heads Up, almost like the Heads Up game.
They have a bunch of different games, but Jackbox is the company. So we're going to be playing a game called Quiplash, which I think is like Cards Against Humanity, but a little different. So we won't report to HR, but I'm sure it'll be a fun time. So we'll see that. We'll see how that goes. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Yeah, we were just laughing on our huddle today, on our team call. We all watched, her sharing with the CEO the one video we all had seen, which was of the girl who was on a conference call and a web share. So she had, I don't know what platform they were using, but there must have been 15 different people on the webcam, and she ends up taking her computer, throwing it on the bathroom floor, and going to the bathroom, and like didn't even know that her webcam was on. And she like fully
gosh,
pulls down her pants, starts going to the bathroom, and you can actually watch it's not a lot to see, but you can watch the people as they start to react. Like there's one girl at the bottom corner who sees it first, and her eyes just kind of lit up, and she's like, "No, you're not doing that." And it all happens within like 4 seconds, And then I don't know if the administrator clicks off, and says, but all of a sudden her screen's gone, and it was just like, oh man, that girl is mortified, especially now,
dude.
And it's so relatable, and like there's a chance that the whole internet, might not see it, maybe only like 20%, and now
it's the world. Yeah. And I think because one, I know everybody is starting to go, hey, your kid's in the background, no big deal. There's a bunch of noise in the background, no big deal. And this is where we're at, So hopefully there's a little forgiveness given to people like her, I mean, you can't help but like laugh at her and her feel mortified, but hopefully you gotta have some understanding of things, This is the new world, dude.
I hope she can laugh.
But I got to watch that.
It's pretty awful though. I'll share it. Maybe we can watch that tomorrow. We'll put that up.
Yeah.
We'll share that tomorrow.
All right, my beer's done. I think we're done.
And yeah, this went a little longer than I expected, but man, good conversation. Good show. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Be safe. Wash your hands. Wash your face. Enjoy dinner, Brad.
Serenity now.
Peace.
Late.